Have you ever noticed that the faster you try to learn something, the slower you seem to progress? There is a brutal paradox in the way modern man seeks knowledge. We run from technique to technique, from method to method, always thinking the next shortcut will make us master what matters. But something is wrong. With every new attempt, the feeling of being behind only increases. It's as if you are always starting, never arriving. The samurai had an answer for this, and it wasn't to speed up, it was the opposite. They called it Shuhari, an ancient formula that transforms patience into power and surrender into mastery. And today, you will understand why it works better than any productivity hack you have ever tried.
We live in a strange time. Information is everywhere, but true learning seems increasingly rare. You can access 1,000 courses, read 100 books in a year, watch countless videos on any subject. But at the end of the day, what really stuck? What do you truly master? Modern culture sold a dangerous lie that speed is synonymous with intelligence, that the one who learns fast is superior, that mastering something in 3 months is better than mastering it in 3 years. But this logic created a generation of superficial men who know a little about everything but master nothing. Men who change goals every week because they never dove deep enough to feel the real transformation. And the worst part, this generates a silent anguish, a constant feeling of wasting time, of being left behind, of everyone else evolving faster. You look at others and it seems like they have a secret. But the secret is not theirs. It is yours. It is hidden inside you, covered by layers of rush, anxiety, and impatience. The problem is not a lack of effort. It is a lack of surrender to the process.
The samurai of feudal Japan were not just warriors, they were scholars of human movement, masters of the mind, and they discovered something that the modern world has forgotten. True learning doesn't happen at speed, it happens in depth. They created a concept called Shuhari, 3 words, 3 phases, a complete cycle of transformation. Shu means to obey. It is the phase of total absorption. You find a master, a path, a method, and you surrender completely to it, without questioning, without adapting, without trying to be clever. You imitate, you repeat, you absorb every movement, every word, every detail. It is like learning Japanese calligraphy. You don't create your own style on the first day. You copy the master until your hand knows every stroke. Ha means to break. After mastering the rules, you begin to question them, not out of rebellion, but out of understanding. You understand the why behind every principle. And then, with wisdom, you adapt. You discover what works for you. You break the external form to reveal the internal form. This is where the learning becomes yours. Ri means to transcend. You no longer follow the method, you become the method. The rules disappear because they are now part of you. You act without thinking, without effort, without resistance. The movement flows like water. The decision arises as instinct. You are no longer learning, you are being. This is Shuhari, And it works because it respects the natural rhythm of human evolution. It does not try to accelerate what cannot be accelerated. It does not try to force what needs to mature.
But here's the problem. The modern man wants to jump straight to re. He wants to be free, creative, original, without ever having gone through shu. He thinks discipline is imprisonment, that repetition is a waste of time, that following a master is a sign of weakness. So he tries to create his own path from the very first day. And he gets lost, because freedom without structure is not freedom, it is chaos. Japanese Zen has a simple teaching about this. Haste is a form of spiritual ignorance. When you rush, you are not present. And when you are not present, you do not learn. You only accumulate information. But information without presence is like water in a sieve. It passes through you, but it does not transform you. The samurai understood that mastering something is not about being fast. It is about being completely where you are. If you are in shu, be totally in shu. Do not try to be the ha. Do not fantasize about the re. Surrender to the phase you are in, because each phase has its wisdom. And when you skip one, you lose not just knowledge, you lose the foundation that supports everything that comes next. If you subscribe to the channel now, you will gain access to a complete journey of self-mastery. Every video here is constructed to make you think differently, to take you off autopilot, to give you back real control over your mind and your life.
There is a profound psychological reason for all this haste, and the Japanese psychologist Hayao Kawai spent decades studying it. He realized something essential. The contemporary man has lost the sense of the sacred in the process of learning. In the past, learning was a ritual. You chose a master and spent years by their side, not just copying techniques, but absorbing a way of seeing the world. Learning transformed you internally. It changed your identity. You were no longer the same person after mastering something. Today, learning has become consumption. You buy a course, watch it at increased speed, grab a few insights, and move on to the next one. But nothing changes within you. You accumulate certificates, but you do not transform character. You collect techniques, but you do not develop wisdom. And Kawai identified the root of this. Haste is an emotional defense. It is a way to avoid the discomfort of vulnerability. Because to truly learn, you need to admit you don't know. You need to accept that you are a beginner, that you will make mistakes, that you will look incompetent for a while. And the modern ego cannot handle this. So it seeks shortcuts. It wants to appear competent without going through the uncomfortable phase of being incompetent. It wants the results of mastery without the humility of learning. But every shortcut shortens the depth. Every time you skip a step, you build on a fragile base. And when the pressure increases, everything collapses because you never truly learned. You just pretended.
Think about this. How many new things have you started in the past few years? And how many times did you quit just when you were about to truly learn? Just when the discomfort increased? Just when you needed to choose between continuing as a beginner or giving up and starting something else where you could still feel intelligent? This is the cycle of the modern man. He doesn't evolve, he migrates. He changes habits every week, changes books every month, changes goals every season. And he never gets anywhere because he never surrenders to anything. Impatience is not just a personality trait. It is an escape from the feeling of not knowing. It is a refusal to surrender to the process. And as long as you do not surrender, you will not master anything. Because mastery is not accumulation, it is transformation. But there is a practical side to all this. And this is where the work of neuroscientist Andrew Newberg comes in. He spent years studying what happens in the brain when we practice active patience. And he discovered something fascinating. Patience is not passive. It is the state where the brain reorganizes and integrates knowledge. When you learn something new, your brain doesn't store it immediately. It needs time. It needs silence. It needs conscious repetition. And it is precisely in the intervals between practices that true learning happens. It's when you sleep, when you reflect, when you stop forcing and let the information settle. Newberg showed that contemplative practices like meditation increase neural plasticity, meaning the more you train your mind to be present, the faster your brain can create new connections. This means that patience is not slow. Patience is efficient. The problem is that modern man lives in a state of constant dopamine. He seeks immediate rewards. Every like, every notification, every fast result activates the short-term dopaminergic system, and this trains the brain to be unable to wait, to be unable to endure the long process, to give up when it doesn't see results in days. But Shuhari trains the opposite. It strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for wisdom, self-control, and long-term vision. It teaches the brain to seek rewards that come with time, rewards that last, that transform.
And there is a simple exercise you can do now. Newberg calls it the integration interval. It works like this. After studying something new, do not rush to the next task. Close your eyes, breathe deeply for 60 seconds. Visualize the information settling inside you like a stone falling to the bottom of a river. And repeat mentally, nothing is lost in the calm. It seems too simple to work, but it does, because you are giving the brain the space it needs to process. You are creating the interval where learning becomes memory, where technique becomes skill, where knowledge becomes wisdom. The samurai had another concept that complements Shuhari. They called it mushin, mind without mind. It is not an absence of consciousness. It is an absence of interference. It is when you have trained so much that the movement arises effortlessly, without thinking, without doubting. A samurai did not think before cutting. He cut because he had trained thousands of times. The body knew. The mind did not need to command. It was automatic, but it was not mechanical. It was natural. This is the paradox of mastery. The more you try to control, the more tense you become. The more you force, the less it flows. But when you trust the process, when you surrender to the phases of Shuhari, a moment comes when the movement happens by itself, where you are no longer doing, you are being. And this only comes with patience, because you need to repeat until the body absorbs it, until the brain creates the deep connections, until the technique becomes a reflex. There is no shortcut for this. There is no hack. There is only presence, repetition, and time. Patience creates something that haste will never create: depth. The man who masters patience masters time, because he is no longer fighting against it. He is flowing with it. Real learning is not about accumulating. It is about decanting. It is about letting the essential separate from the superficial. And this only happens when you stop adding and start integrating, when you stop running and start absorbing. Shuhari is not linear, it is cyclical. Even the master, when starting something new, returns to Shu. He is not ashamed to be a beginner again, because he knows that every new learning is a new cycle, and every cycle deepens his understanding of what learning is. Imagine 3 concentric circles: learn, break, transcend, and return. Always returning,
always starting over, but never from the same place, because every cycle transforms you.
And here is the brutal contrast with the modern world. Productivity has become a religion. Efficiency has become a god, and man has become a slave to his own performance. He no longer lives, he optimizes. He no longer learns, he consumes content. The culture of toxic speed created a generation of exhausted men. They run, but they don't know where. They produce, but they don't know why. They learn, but they don't transform. Because learning without patience is information without wisdom. Technology has accelerated the mind, but the spirit remains slow. And when the mind is too fast for the spirit to keep up, you live out of sync. You feel like you're always late even when you're producing, always insufficient even when you're progressing. Shuhari is a return to the original cadence of the human being, learning at the rhythm of life, not algorithms, evolving at the speed of nature, not the internet, mastering at the time of the body, not anxiety.
When you bring the three masters together, the samurai, the psychologist, and the neuroscientist, you have a complete vision. The samurai shows you the path. The psychologist reveals the ego that blocks the path. The neuroscientist delivers the practical how. It is a triad. Philosophy gives you the why. Psychology shows you the internal how. Neurospirituality gives you the practical how. And when you integrate the three, every learning becomes a ritual. Attention, practice, reflection, silence. It's not just technique, it's transformation. So, let's summarize the formula. Shuhari applied to your life works like this. First, Shu, obey. Choose a master, a practice, a principle, and surrender completely. No questioning yet, no adapting. Absorb, repeat, let it in. This is the phase of humility, and it may be the most important of all. Then, break. When you have mastered the form, start questioning it. Understand the why behind every rule. Adapt to your context. Discover what works for you. But only do this after you have truly mastered Shu, not before. Finally, transcend. No longer follow the method, be the method. Let the principle flow through you effortlessly, without thinking, without resisting. You have become what you learned. Now take a habit or skill you are trying to master. It can be anything: an instrument, a language, a workout, a mental practice. And ask yourself, in which phase of Shuhari am I? If you are still at the beginning, but already trying to adapt everything, you are skipping steps. Go back to Shu, surrender, imitate, absorb, without rushing to be original. If you already master the form, but have never questioned it, you are stuck. Go to discover the why, adapt, make it yours. And if you have already understood deeply, then just flow. Let it happen. Trust, you are already in But remember, there is no shortcut. Each phase has its natural duration. And when you respect that, learning accelerates effortlessly, because you are no longer fighting the process. You are flowing with it.
Here is the final truth. The impatient man seeks shortcuts. The patient man builds invisible bridges. And one day, He realizes he has always been learning at the right speed. You don't need more techniques. You need more presence. You don't need more information. You need more integration. You don't need more speed. You need more depth. And depth only comes when you stop rushing, when you surrender to the natural rhythm of learning, when you accept that mastering something requires time, and that time is not your enemy, it is your ally. If you want to continue this journey, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, because every video here is made to make you think differently, to confront you, to transform you. And leave in the comments, which phase of Shuhari are you in right now? What are you trying to master, and where do you think you are getting stuck? Philosophy is not meant to make you wiser. It is meant to make you more alive. And what you learn today will not make you faster. It will make you deeper. It will teach you that true speed does not come from haste. It comes from patience. The samurai knew this. Their sword cut the enemy, but the real cut was internal. The cut of haste, of ego, of ignorance. And when you cut that, what remains is clarity. And with clarity, everything flows. When you stop chasing mastery, mastery will come to you.